was that we have access to unlimited amounts of information. Unlimited amounts of information, but we don't know that we have access to it. And so that, again, that is where they get us, because we don't know that we have access to it. Now, all of what I'm saying right here at this moment is extremely significant in the sense of everyone trying to decipher how we're going to get out of this situation, what's going on. Listen to what I'm saying when I say the confusion or the concern is, what are we going to do about everything that's going on? When you hear what I'm saying, you will notice that what? You are looking outside of yourself all the time. Everything is out there. That is the game. That is the game, is for you to look for everything, all your solutions, everything about your life is out there. They don't want you to come in here, wherever here is. They don't want you to get past that physical aspect of anything. Because if you did, you would awaken again to what you are that is way beyond this holographic structure. That's way beyond that. So we look outside for all of our solutions. Everything is out there. Government is going to fix it. Why isn't government doing this? Why isn't, this doing, it's religion, it's this, it's that, but it's all out there, and that's not true. Because on the great level of science, I don't know how much most people are into here, but on the great level of science, there's nothing out there. Now, that is what makes it so interesting, because technically, in terms of you look at quantum physics and all that's been discovered, there's technically nothing out there. But in order to keep us looking in this illusion of out there, you have to put things in place to keep us from going in and realizing that we are actually the ones focusing on using our energy, which is what fear is. Fear is like, it's fuel. It's like, like you put gas in your car. It's fuel. And so when we then take our focus into any one particular thing, we lock it in, and we are the ones that actually allow this to manifest. And I know some people are going, well, that's not true, but what about this, what about that? But I'm telling you, you go research it for yourself. That science shows this, but because that level of science is not pushed in school, it's not pushed at all, unless one goes and starts to question this. So therefore, your emotions, what isn't fear? When there's fear, you're triggered. Well, what are we? We are emotional beings. We feel. How do we do that? Electrochemical impulses. And so I'm jumping ahead on a lot of what I'm saying, which is why when I make notes, I don't know why I make them, because I don't, I end up just going on a rant. But again, this is really very important, because why is it important? Because that's how the media works. That's why they show flashes and images of one particular situation. Like when we had the bombing, the Boston thing. It's like slide after slide, image after image. And what happens? What do you feel when you see this? Aren't you triggered emotionally? You are triggered. You're feeling fear. You're feeling anger. You're feeling sadness. You're feeling all. So what is the objective then? In any case where there is a theme, because I call them themes, because that's what they are. You get a series of it, and when that's done, we move on to a new theme. But what happens in the meantime? In the meantime, you get mass amounts of people with what? Emotionally engaged. And what is that? That is energy. That is fuel. So what is going on at that time is like, it's like an upload. Everybody's emotions are completely submerged and engaged in whatever the theme is that is being projected. Now, unless you are actually at many of these things that are happening, and I know this is also another unbelievable area for many people, you don't know what's real and what's not real. You don't know what's really going on, because reality is what? It is served up to us as pictures and videos and images Just like with going to a different country, we have no idea until we get to that country what it is. Because you cannot see, as I always say, we cannot experience the entire world at once. We cannot see the entire world at once, so what happens? It is brought to us. An idea and a concept of what the world is fed to us on a daily basis, and that's what we respond to. Now, we think nothing of it, and again, what I'm saying might seem like, yeah, but I know this is going on. I don't know anything about anything that is going on unless I am there. What I know right now is you're here. I am engaging in this experience. The world, you only know as much about the world based on what you interact with on a daily basis. Think about it. That is a fact. The only thing you know about the world is what you experience of your entire environment in a moment-to-moment basis. That is the truth. Everything else, you either have to look in a book for a picture, or you have to read about it, or you get on the internet and you are shown the images and pictures and videos. And from there, we construct according to what they would like you to formulate, whether it be the economy. There's so many things. Our minds are just sort of guided into a particular way of thinking, seeing, and operating. And you think about that as you go throughout your day. How much of the world do I really know about that I actually know to be factual unless I'm engaging in it? And I wanted to make sure that I say that part of it because that's extremely important. Okay. All right. So now we can go on to looking at the fact, as I said, that we are actually conditioned in the manner in which we are in terms of the programming and in terms of seeing life the way it is. So not only do we acknowledge the superiority of other off-world species over the human race, but we surrender to it. Okay, so what we are dealing with is really a technological superiority. So what I'm saying here is when we speak of even those that are considered from another planet then, alien life force. What we are dealing with is more so, if anything, superiority in technology. But you see, for us, because we've been so dumbed down and we've been so taught to believe that we are such an inferior species and that we are so incapable that we have bought into it. So anybody that can make fire we bow down to them. We succumb, we bow down to them. And so my sense is that, as you've heard other speakers talk about, that a long time ago, when there are those that visited the planet and passed themselves off as gods, I do believe that at those moments that there were definitely alterations and definitely genetic alterations, DNA engineering. I do believe those things did occur, and this is why we are as we are today. It's like a complete loss of memory of what we are, and again, of what is possible. And that has carried through. And the leaders that we have, or those we call leaders in our society, have continued that same kind of process from those engineers that looked at the human species as inferior, or ensuring that that species does not wake up to remember and to recognize that they were equal to them. That is what has happened. To not remember that you are equal to them, because what? We are not activated. We are not turned on. Our brains we use a minimal amount of it. So again, I'm speaking of technology. Everything that we are talking about is technology-based. Change your perception of what technology is. What we're dealing is engineering of frequencies. And to begin to just sort of snap out of where we are and really start to acknowledge that, there's a part of you that is so ready to open and actually provide you this kind of information, but you have to say you want it. You have to say that you are ready for this, as opposed to continuing to look outside and be fed the information, because somebody is feeding you, once again, an image, an idea of what reality is. So until we are ready, and I'm not saying that this is an easy feat, because when someone wakes up to that level and you start digging in and you start wanting to acknowledge the depth of what you are, your life, it will change. It will change in ways that you might not necessarily be ready for. And why does that happen? Because the foundation upon which you have been operating in your perception of reality changes. And so what you become, that which you were, no longer supports that. Okay, let's look at this. Let's take it to this other aspect. Collectively, we can all agree that this is a carpet, that is a chair, that is a table. Collectively, we can agree on that. Why is that? We know what a tree looks like because the brain, we have a library of things that we are comfortable with and that we have acknowledged and we have accepted that these are the things. These things exist. So we have a library of acceptabilities that we are operating by. And so when anything outside of that library of acceptabilities show up, it's challenging for us. And a great many things, as a matter of fact, we just don't see. There's a great many things we don't see. Why? Because the brain filters it. The brain filters what we will see, what we will interact with, based on our perception, based on our belief systems, based on those things that we can accept as a possibility. But if what we can accept as a possibility has already been pre-programmed into you and you don't know that, then you're going to operate within this very minuscule construct. And that's really important to understand how the brain is operating. And the fact that everything we do see and we touch and feel and so on, how that is picked up. We see with our brains, which I don't know how many people probably know that. But anyway, we see with our brains and not really with our eyes. So our eyes are acting as a lens. And it's picking up those the light frequencies, and it's translated back through the optic nerves. And so we think that everything around us is solid. Now, with that said, if we are studied well enough, don't you think that it would be very easy then to intercept that library once again with certain specifics that we over time will accept as a possibility, and we stop right there? This is how it's all designed. So you come to only certain to boundaries of what you will accept, and anything that's outside of that program, that's why you have a problem with it, because you have no reference point for it. Because we've passed down this kind of believability about what reality is from one generation to the next, until the point where it has become genetic. It's part of the human gene pool now as to what we think we are. And I keep emphasizing that because we need to understand that what we think we are is by someone else's design. We are more than this body. We are more than this flesh and blood. We are something much more vast. As a matter of fact, we are not even in these bodies. Not like that. We think that who we are is